Imagine a lord of darkness lurking just beyond the etheric plane, enslaving us to an illusion of this material realm, drawing strength from the electromagnetic flow of information pumping throughout the earth. Through one man's visions and clairvoyance, we will uncover this forgotten god of old, and how he connects to and tempts the human mind, and the mysterious prophecy of his return, a coming incarnation into human form. The occultist, architect, and claimed clairvoyant Rudolf Seiner wrote extensively on the entity known as Ahriman. He was a being known for influencing the souls of men and women to seek the material and to deceive them, causing a spiritual amnesia over generations, slandering spiritual truths, making them seem false. To a person under the control of Ahriman, all spiritual concepts deteriorate in favor of science and technology. Steiner carved this depiction of the dark god out of wood, and although he never claimed to have been in direct communication with the deity, he was clairvoyantly aware of him, receiving trances and visions, spiritual downloads of his looming presence and his plan for humanity. And according to Steiner, he was most definitely coming. Ahriman's roots go all the way back to Zoroastrianism, the oldest known monotheistic religion of Persia. In it, their god of light, good, and virtue, known as Ahura Mazda, had an opposer of equal power, a lord of complete darkness, chaos, and the source of human confusion. He was also the supreme leader of the legions of demons who are said to have dwelt in an endless abyss in the north. This Zoroastrian figure would often take the form of a lizard or snake, bringing death and disease to the world. But according to Steiner, Ahriman had help in misleading mankind. According to his newly created philosophical movement known as anthroposophy, Lucifer and Ahriman are dual parts of a larger force against humanity. Two different kinds of evil that required balance. Lucifer's mission seems to be making man forget his beginnings and his dominion of the earth. He employs the temptation of unbounded imagination, encouraging falsehoods and dreams and visions, creating fictitious myths to distract humans from their true place, inviting them into the transcendent places and modes of thinking, higher wisdom, and the knowledge of the gods. Interestingly, many other Gnostics and occultists believe that Lucifer took a physical form around 3000 BC in the Far East. His human incarnation, that of a young boy, was said to have grown into familiarizing himself with the mystery schools, the secret societies, and so forth of that region. And around age 40, he became fully aware of his pre-existing wisdom and dictated much of it to his followers, forming the ideas of the yin and yang, duality, and the underlying themes of Buddhism and Hinduism, philosophies as we know them today. And in his distorted and Gnostic view of Christianity, Steiner believed that Christ incarnated as a balance between Lucifer and the coming of Ahriman. They believe in the Christ consciousness that is accessible to all to become a god themselves, which is deeply blasphemous in my opinion. But I digress. Anyway, according to these beliefs, something major happened around the 14th century AD. We began to slowly come under the influence of Ahriman, becoming more and more entrenched in material thinking with the explosion of science in the Renaissance period. And this dark force began directly influencing people, seemingly in the 19th century, with the technological boom that came coinciding with people like Nikola Tesla. Tesla was obsessed with technological advancement and was a genius whose ideas and inventions may have come from another source. In fact, I think it is a distinct possibility that Tesla was possessed by the spirit of Ahriman. In his experiments, he often referred to the power of electricity as something mystical. Also, that science has no idea what it really is. As his ideas were helping to spread the use of electricity globally, he predicted the world would come under the spell of excessive knowledge, seemingly becoming a prophet of the Ahrimanic wave that was to come and has infected our world today. In a strange quote, Rudolf Seiner describes electricity as, quote, light that is decaying into death. He believed that the endless movement of our power grid contained this death power, and that the currents of electromagnetism flowing all around us may be aiding in our abandonment of the spiritual world. This spirit is prophesied to also bring the temptation of immortality, a way to stay attached to the physical realm. In my opinion, this is perfectly embodied in the transhumanism movement. Men wish to merge with metal and silicone. The leaders of these ideas tout of cracking the code of consciousness and mastering it. Elon Musk of Tesla recently described death as a simple loss of memory, and if one can learn to preserve that data, it can be uploaded instantly anywhere without limitations, even into a new, everlasting body. So is this truly a deception by a dark god to mislead mankind? The world seems very prepared, and almost like it's waiting on its arrival. People are lining up in masses and paying thousands of dollars to receive Elon Musk's Neuralink chip in their brain that can read their thoughts and complete actions without the use of their body. One of these leaders of tech, or one of these innovators, could be more than they appear to be. Steiner predicted that this spiritual being, Ahriman, a being of materialism and cold intellect, would incarnate in physical human form. This is paralleling the incarnation of Christ, and he will come into the world in direct opposition to Christ, according to Steiner. Any Christian should immediately see the parallels between this figure and the prophecy of the Antichrist in biblical texts. Ahriman would be a master of deception, coming as a leader or scientist, pushing his agenda to enslave humanity, making them believe they are no more than biological machines governed by physical laws.